So good morning ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to do a table decoration, Christmas table decoration class. So on the table you'll see a variety of materials that you'll need. This is entirely up to you. I'll show you the basic techniques, but actually from your point of view you can add anything you wish, anything you've got in the house that you like, favourite candles, favourite decorations, foliage from the garden. If you buy the kit from us, we will supply you with the basics, and you need to tell us whether you want the standard cup, which is a plastic cup that the Oasis goes into to make the design, and with that we have the Oasis minifix which secures that to the base. We've got these little crowns, candle holders. They simply go into the Oasis and allow you to put your candle into the design. Foliage, and I've cut some yew today and some really pretty ivy. And then decorations. So we've got a big poinsettia, some pine cones, and some gold poinsettias, a selection of Christmas baubles, and some pheasant feathers. So to start your table decoration, what you need to do is release your Oasis. You'll see in this pack, which I've got from a local florist supplier, that there are 3 pieces. I'm going to fasten this with the florist tape, which is a bit like blue tack. Yeah. To the bottom of this container and push down hard. That keeps it in, keeps it solid. I'm going to add a candle to our design. So again, a candle holder into the centre, and then we're ready to start using the foliage. So we have yew, which I've robbed from the trees, and basically you're just layering this into, cut your edge. These pliers are not very good. So you're going to put a base covering around the bottom. You're literally just pushing this in to the Oasis to give you that base covering. What you're looking to do is get as dense a base as possible. So when you choose your foliage, make sure it's got a few branches so that you're not there forever. And just lay them in quite close to each other. When you're cutting your stems, try and cut them at a point, because they're easier to go in to the Oasis, and it will start to get crowded in there, so make sure that you start at the bottom, because you're going to layer this up to make your design. So you've now got your base, and to add to that now we're going to put in some decoration. So this layer needs to be shorter. and needs to be laid in above the other. So what we're basically doing is just covering over the whole of the oasis so you can't see it. So we're just layering it into the top so the pieces, as they go into the top, are getting shorter, and these top pieces are going in at an angle to give that coverage. So once you've made sure you've covered all of your gaps, think about what else you want to put in or on there. In instances like this, sometimes less is more, so don't go too mad. And you might decide you want to change the shape once you've built it. Just be aware that once you've made the holes in the oasis, those holes are in place and will stay. So once you've got your dense base, you can see that your candle's going to go into the centre. You've actually got your basis for your plant, for your table decoration. So you need to think then about what you might want to add to it. So do you want to add some glitter? Do you want to add something very bold? If you do, then be aware of where you're putting that, because that's a little bit big. Do you want to add some feathers? Again, same principle, just push them in and fan them round the base. So for the next stage, this is where we get creative. So you need to think about what you're going to add to your base to make it more Christmassy. You may want to leave it plain, that's completely up to you. I haven't put any holly in this. You can add holly. You need to be aware that the oasis is only a certain size, and the more you stick into it, the more it will break down. You will be watering that at the end. So I've got these pretty gold poinsettias, and what I'm going to do, I think, is put 2 of these. So I'm just going to lay them on the top for now to get my design. I've also got these Christmas baubles, so again I can lay them on the top, and I've got 2 pine cones. So to add these, what we need to do is wire them. And if you've seen our wreath class, you will have seen how we do that. So we have the florist wire and the cone, And the principle is the same with anything that we're wiring. So we're wrapping that through a layer, and then we're going to give it a sharp twist and keep twisting. Moving your fingers back so that actually you end up with a bound piece of wire. You don't want a sharp edge, so we're going to fold the end in, and that gives us a bit more security, and then fold it again. So we've got a secure end and a fixed. Equally the same with the poinsettia. It has a stalk on the back. If it didn't, we'd go through any gaps to tie it, but because it's got that stalk, again, take the centre of your wire, bring it round, and give a sharp twist. Make sure this is sharp and that you've captured it. What I tend to do is then just wrap around the stem 2 or 3 times to make sure it's secure, and then exactly the same principle, twist your wire. Again, fold in and twist. Your baubles are slightly different. They do have a hole in the top, which you'd normally have a piece of decoration hanging on. Cut that off because we don't need it. But again, these are fixed over the bauble, so they're not very secure. So again, I'd wrap around the middle, wrap twice round, and then again, exactly the same principle. Twist your wire. If you're using glass, these aren't glass, then be very careful that you don't break them. You may want to wear a glove on the hand that's holding the bauble just in case. And as with everything else, double it over and wrap until you've got your finished edge. So what we're going to do now then is attach these by simply pushing them into we can find it. The oasis. The double edge gives you the ability to be able to secure that, and if you haven't got enough, just double it over again, just to give you that ability to push it through. So there's your poinsettias attached, except it's stuck itself to the holly leaf. Stop it. So we're now going to look at the baubles. Exactly the same principle. Find a little gap, push it through, secure it into the oasis. And then the same with the pine cone. Again, oops, push it through, make sure it's secure. You can use a glue gun to attach these, but you will obviously damage your flats. And I think that's enough. So we have a completed design, in this instance, greens and browns. You might, if you can get a gold candle, put in a gold candle. I only bought a red one today, sorry. And there you have your design. Now what we do need to do with this, and what you have to consider now, is your base. This is in a cup, and the cup is watertight. So we now need to water it, and that will keep it alive.
Ready.
So I've got a jug of water here, and I'm just literally going to pour that over the oasis until I'm sure it's all wet. That will keep your flowers alive, your foliage alive. If you're using something like this, then obviously there are holes in the bottom. So when you're dampening your oasis on this, I put that on a tea plate or a saucer, water it, let it dry off. It's got little feet, so they'll stand on the table, away from the table. But that's basically it. That is your table decoration.